Wassail Beautiful People. What the duck? Look, Neptune. So, I've also got a cockerel just over here. And he's watching his chicken wife, his hen. She's digging in the mud over there around the birds of paradise flowers. So, how are we doing this? Okay, so we're doing what's showing above the surface. What are you putting out there at the moment? And then we're looking at what's rippling out from the surface and what's below. So it's like the alchemy of energy that's all around you. So, did you pick duck number 1? Did you pick duck number 1? What's showing? What's on show for all to see? What's the energy on show for all to see? Kinghan. So this is divine spark. And then what's rippling around you? What's the alchemy of the magic that's rippling all around you? What's the alchemy of the magic rippling all around you? Oh, a huge energy. And it's a very collective energy. And then what's beneath the surface that you need to bring up and integrate? What's beneath the surface that you need to bring up and integrate? What's beneath the surface that you need to bring up? What's beneath the surface? Baldur, the light. Fascinating energies. So, I'm going to add some Lost Tarot of Nostradamus, because they're all about the alchemy. Mercury, bronze, silver and lead. So, what's on show, please? What's alchemized around and on show? So, 2 cards. So, you have the 2 of globes, which is lead, the 2 of lead. I want to say your life force is being hidden. Oh yes, you see, look, it's so beautiful. Look, this is Kinghan, and then just behind this figure is the sun. You're not connecting fully with your life force at the moment, and that's what's below the surface, light and life force. So you then have the prophetess, which is card 13 in the suit of moons, which is silver. So the prophetess is working with the moon. She's got this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seeded flower. It's almost like star anise. It's like there's a new aroma coming towards you. We're dealing with Ceres and Persephone energy. So this frequency of your life force, I want to say it's like being drained by spirit, that it's got something to do with the start of the lunar eclipse. The moon is holding off the image of the sun. It's like you're in preparation for this journey into the Janus Geminis. And look, we're going to do a separate reading on that, but for the moment we just need to focus on how we get there. There's something about being in your rawness, being in your truth as you enter the beginning of it on the 26th. I want to say 212 as well. So I'm getting this sense of olfactoriness. Whether you're someone who's at the moment not got has lost their sense of smell, there's something about perfume and taste returning in this Janus Geminis for you. And I don't know how that works, but that's what's being put into my head. That's this collective energy that's rippling out. So let's ask about this collective energy. What's this collective energy, please? What's this collective energy? We've got 1. What's this collective energy? What's this collective energy? Okay, there's something earringing in the past taking place there. So what do we have here? We have the abyss. So we've got 1313. Just as an information for you, 1313. So the abbess is standing in front of a very tall church, but I'm getting this image of a drying out. I'm really getting the sense that this is a message about how the current virus has been affecting people. I'm seeing in Hastings they have these very tall black fishermen's huts where they dry the nets, and the nets, being told, represent kind of divine feminine magic as a woven web, as that idea of the stitching of the Norns. And it's almost like I want to say that there's a sort of a sedate prayerfulness going on, but the important thing is actually the energy of Saturn in Aquarius is working with this Mercury. It's like as you enter this eclipse tunnel, there's some kind of liquid mercury is going to start to flow. Temperature's rising. I'm sensing that, and yet at the same time, I'm feeling coming right through the back of my body this wondrous cooling energy. Oh, it's giving me goosebumps all the way up my arms and now my whole body. It's like there's a new energy, a grand, huge energy of emotions coming back. So there's something about being trapped in this fisherman's hut type energy. This it's almost like you've gone into the porch of the Janus Geminis and you've been in that porch for a year and you can't find a way to move. It's a really restrictive energy, and as you move into this 1313 frequency at the beginning of the Janus Geminis, they're also shouting at me Pluto because of the 13 frequency stellium that's coming on the 6th of October. But then you've got, oh my god, I just thought this card was the Ace of Cups, but it's 21. It's the completed world. It's like this is a really massive karmic energy, giant, beyond the imagining, because recently this card, the giant, has become the collective, and this has become the people who say they're going to rule over us, and actually when we come together they become very small. So there's what's rippling out, a huge collective energy drawing into you. But as I say, there's some kind of olfactory and taste thing going on as well on another level that's been not functioning properly. And there's this energy, I don't know what the energy coming up, but it's light and it's shiny, but it's a completed world. This is a massive karmic cycle. and what was barren will flow, is what I'm getting, and that's what the energy's passing through me. Saturn in Aquarius, as I said before, is very important. Saturn in Aquarius with a little little tinge of Mercury in it, because that was my peacock that we did the reading with the other day, and so he's obviously still telling us when the truths are there. So let's get Baldur. What is this light? What is this energy coming up from below the surface? Oh. It's the alchemist, sorry. There we go, that's the second card. Two of Mercury. I was going to say, it's really interesting. I was going to say the interesting thing about this alchemist card is that it's the male alchemist and below are the women. And I want to say it's almost like he doesn't know what he's doing, but there's Mercury. Mercury is hanging as a badge, communication. Look, he's got the book, and the book's a bit blank, and I was thinking, it's Mary the Jewess frequency should be the alchemist, and I was like, and that's what this 13 frequency is. What's missing from the alchemy that's forming around you is the light. What's the light? The light is love, is source love, it's divine feminine consciousness. And then the card that's following it is Libra as the Two of Mercury, which is the Two of Air, bringing something into balance. But what they're saying to me is that the missing element is the light. That's why the alchemy doesn't work. And here we have the two women who are represented as the prophetess and the abyss. That's kind of, this is at 1313 frequency. They've just put into me 13 and 13 being 26, and then 27, 28. I don't know why they keep talking 28. I started doing the reading just there and the light faded. I'm now doing it here and the light's faded. But 28 came out without it physically being there in the first start. But they just kept putting 28 in, a completion and a new beginning. I'm seeing the shedding of the skin of Ophiuchus, which is the 13th tarot sign that we don't often read, tarot sign, zodiac sign that we don't often read. So there's something also to do with shedding of a kind of global skin of the completed world. This is 21, we're in 2021 at the moment, and it feels like it's the judgment that's being made on how we all live within the world. So let's just give, I've got the Thoth to just do like a 3-card motion through the energy, and then we'll ask for another Odin for how it ends for duck number 1. It's big energy, it's very vast energy that's coming up from the deepest places in the Akashic record. So what's the journey, please? What's the journey, please? Another 13. We got the death card. What's the journey, please? Amazing, amazing. So we've got change. 13, death. It's a transformation on a global scale of darkness, demons, things that stung, things that wouldn't grow properly, a rewiring, a cutting back, a scything away of toxicity. And then you're moving into the Prince of Discs, who is card 12. The Prince of Discs is the very slow moving. This card at the moment, sorry, this card, mirror. This card represents a new, lighter earth energy that's full of wisdom rather than greed and oppression. And it is a 12, but it's stepping into that new motion, leading forwards to a new global sensation or sense. And then we have the Queen of Discs. And the Queen of Discs is another 13. So we've now got 4 13s in this reading. So we've got the Prophetess, the Abyss, Death itself, and the Queen of Pentacles. 4 13s. I want to say 6th of October, Libra Stellium, as we head in that direction, will be this energy of when we come back into the real world, but it's a new world. The old world behind her is grey and is almost two-dimensional now. She has control over the demons. She, the energy of the divine feminine, wears the horns now. It's a suppression of old energies to allow new energies to rise. So let's just ask for a final card. What's the final energy, please? What's the final energy? What's the card? Plugging back into the world, plugging ourselves into the real world, bringing the energy of everything we do, Madur, into the real world. And there's a part of the earth that's been broken and lifted up to make space. It's like the plough, the air, the 13 frequency, the scythe has gone through the soil and brought air. It's aerated and made things lighter. But there's a celebration post 6th of October somehow. Okay, so that was duck number 1. Now let's move on to duck number 2. Just pop all the cards back in their decks. I love all the birds in this park. They're just so beautifully vocal. There's a lot of Mercury energy coming up in the next few months. There's a lot of void of moons that follow moon aspects with Mercury. So it's quite an important frequency. I need to move my legs. I was going to sit at a table, but I couldn't get to the table. It was too difficult. I think I need to go this way so that you can still see the lovely Neptune. You might not be able to see me, but he's more fun. So, did you pick What the Duck number 2? So, what's the energy, please? What's showing up? We've got 2 cards. There's one further away, which will be what's showing up. The second one will be what's the energy on the surface, rippling out. And then what's alchemizing below is the card here. So we're beginning with the Bilrost. Bilrost. What's the energy here? It's Niflheimr. I've not seen this card for a long time. Niflheimr is the fog, but the fog is the frozen water where fire meets ice. And that's what creates new life. And then what's beneath the surface? The shadows. Ooh, did you pick duck number 2 and wish you hadn't? So we're using the Lost Tarot Nostradamus. Let's have a look at Bilrost. Bilrost got Huggin and Munnin on it, Huggin and Thuggin. And they're flying up towards heaven. They've opened the Rainbow Bridge, Bilrost or Bifrost, and they're journeying towards Asgard, but it feels like moving towards Asgard for a last time before the frequency changes. It's like they're bringing a message from Earth to the old heaven, because there's a sense of a fresh heaven being birthed somehow, which is Vanahamir. So, what do we have? We've got 3, and I was trying to do 2. Right, so 484, no, 4. It's a mirror around a sense of justice and balance. It's actually 468, but the way that they've come out, it's showing me first of all the 4 of moons. So we have this 4 of moons. This is very much a frequency of love. This is very much claiming a stake, staking out what you want to hold as love. You have to change the frequency of love. This is silver, the energy of silver. He holds it's like an ear of corn, but it's being shown to me as a very large quill, sort of like a white peacock almost. And the shedding of the old skin. I'm being drawn for some reason in these readings to the 13th zodiac sign, Ophiuchus, that we don't follow very often. And then we have justice, but there's something about this justice card that feels more like a death card. It's a transformation frequency. There's a scythe, and actually there's no scythe on the death card in this deck. So it's saying that the truth is ugly truth world. I haven't had that frequency for a long time. Animal world. It's got something to do with changing our relationship with the animal kingdom, the natural world, changing, scything off, cutting back. I want to say that this is like there's a liberation coming, and it's quite a fire and air liberation. And then I'm just putting these together because I need you to understand something, which is you then have the 6 of Suns, which is copper. So we're dealing with silver and copper here. There you go. What the duck? It just flew by, quacking. This is the 6 of Suns. This is the card of victory, but it's like I'm being told it's about the fact that this is a mirroring energy because of the Roman numerals. The 6 and the 4 look the same, but they're in a mirrored reversed image, and it's got something to do with the change. So what are you showing on the surface? You're showing staking a claim, an emotional claim in the world, but there's something about that emotional claim that's steely somehow, and you've got to cut through the steel. You've got to make a change. And the peacock agrees. So I'm being drawn to Saturn on the card of copper, the 6 of copper. Saturn's in Aquarius. Why am I being shown that? I know Saturn set up this stellium 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need to put, I'm going to come back to them. I need to put down the fog. I need to understand what's on the surface, to understand what it is that you're showing. You're staking a claim, but it's like a cold emotional claim. That's what I'm seeing. Something that's not flowing properly, and yet there's an aspect within you that you feel it's a victorious motion, but it's like a bad mirror. It's like a bad reflection on you and your thought process. So, what is the fog? That's the energy alchemizing on the surface all around you. Now, we have again, we've got the Three of Mercury. And the Three of Mercury is like the Three of Swords. So it's usually a card of heartbreak. I'm getting the Ophiuchus symbol again, but this is the newly birthed Ophiuchus. So it is about looking at yourself in the mirror and changing the reflection of what you see. The old you is broken. The old you is broken. I feel like I'm getting the image of the snake charmer. It's like you've been charming. There's an awful lot of numbers around this card. We've got 1 degree, 3 degrees, 6 degrees. It's like, and Saturn's here again. So what's the, yeah, I'm being shown that this victorious reflection, this copper, is not your true energy. It's like I'm being shown Cancer, the energy of Cancer, the house of Cancer, the home, but Cancer as in where you reside emotionally with yourself, being too fixed. It's a watery energy, but somehow it's been frozen. The fog, your emotions are frozen. This is why these cards are tricky. I don't use these cards often because they're very hard. The balance that you think you have is almost smashed to pieces. It's that confused. So, what does that come out with? It comes out with Cardinal 12, the Cardinal of Mercury. So, what have we got here? We've got Ophiuchus again, the snake handler, the snake charmer, falling down and being brought up by the strength of Hercules. You need to find a strength within you that's forming all around you, but you can't. They're saying to me, you're going rusty in your armor, in this form of fixed emotions, and that's not what Cancer is, but that's what they're saying. You've got to the point where you've frozen your emotions. You feel battered by, the metal of the scales have been just tangled. You couldn't weigh anything up. It's a sense of misjudgment is what's gathered around you, and it is like the whole of the surface of everything you see, you're standing on a lake of mercury that's just toxic, and you need to unfreeze it. But the cardinal energy is talking about bringing that sort of new thought, bringing something completely fresh. But they're sort of saying that the cardinal energy you're bringing isn't enough. The energy that you're working with here is still rigidly fixed in 12 frequency. It needs something else. The burning tower. Look, if we're going to deal with the fog, we need the burning tower. We need to change the passions. So we're looking at fire signs. This was fire, but you're iced down on your fire. This is the wrong reflection of you. You need to burn off the old reflection. Even what you think are your innovative thoughts are just not innovative enough. They're not flowing enough for the frequency that's surrounding you and drawing in and lifting these shadows. So they're saying this protection is what's holding the shadows back. You're focusing too much only on the energy of love and light, but you're portraying your love and light as a poor reflection of your truth. You've got this stake in love. It's beginning to lock in now. You need to cut back. Look, I've said it before, you need to cut back on the rainbow farts. You need to actually wake up and smell the real coffee that's underneath the mercury, the sulphurous lake. There's something about, you're frightened of engaging in the truth. So, what do we have for the shadows? What's beneath the surface? There's a lovely blackbird here. Wish it would come over and sing. So, the shadows beneath the surface. The shadows beneath the surface. The shadows beneath the surface. We're singing to the blackbird. What's beneath the surface? Look, it's like, look, that. This deck spews cards out all the time. I've just said, it's like you refuse to look at your shadows. The cards are not coming out. The cards are refusing because you don't want to know. You've already been tempted to skip and go, I didn't pick 2, I picked 3. There's 2. That's what I wanted. So there's like a kind of sense of behaviour. Before, you were pushing out more. You were pushing 3 in each because you were kind of needing that extra screen shield around you to stop. Actually, there is 3 here. But it's still giving me that. Interesting. So what are the shadows? The shadows are a fear of loneliness. This hermit, the birds are going mad. This hermit is so isolated and so sad. This came out in a reading back in September for pigs or dogs. One of the readings when I was in Normandy, and I haven't seen it since then. It's Virgo energy. But it's, what they're saying to me is all of these things are patterns in your own head. So, for instance, you think that you're imagining this hermit is a shadow that will inevitably come into being around you. You're manifesting it as a false image of the truth that you're supposed to be coming into. And it's worry beads is what I'm getting. It's that notion that it's almost like you keep ticking off all the things that are the fog that you won't look at, and you're just keeping your attention focused on this notion that some sort of love and light energy just flows into you just because. And yet in your soul you're counting your worries and you're pulling them towards you, and that has to change. We will look at the change of energy, but I feel like the change of energy is coming now, because this is 6. It's the lovers. We've got the Wheel of Fortune and the moon working together, and then we've got the lovers. He's got a bow and arrow. He's kind of, it's about shooting moving from the energy of the old you, that breaking, smashing the mirror, the 7 years bad luck kind of notion that you're scared of. But there's a sacred bull coming in, and there's the balance of Libra at the bottom. And I'm a Sagittarian energy, the moon moving into a fortunate energy for you with the full lunar eclipse moon that's coming. And then you've got this fabulous 4 of Mercury. So before you had the 4 of silver, staking your claim to a kind of false rainbow farts version of love and light, and now you're beginning to see, look, you've got the broken, you've got the busted, in the 3 of Mercury, the 3 of swords, you've got the busted up balance, but the busted up balance had the energy of Saturn around it, and now it's moving to a new frequency, the old broken sort of centaur warrior thing. Now we've got Saturn, and this is an expansive energy, and the moon, the unicorn's horn, is delivering a point into the base of the neck here at the back of the image. And this means, sorry, I just have to pause because there's children coming. No, hooray, they went the other way. It's delivering like a notion of truth. The moon will bring you an esoteric energy that will come in at the back of your head and change your frequency to a new form of love, an expansive form of love. And then it ends, oh no, that is the end one. So the 3, I've picked up so many now. This Hermit, 9 and 6. It's like a divine change. You're being offered a divine change. The unicorn is also talking about your separation between your civilized you, the rainbow farts, and your sort of your beast, the version of you that's the barbarian. Whereas in this, it's swapping it around. It's your energy that won't face shadows is actually the barbarian. It's facing the shadows, which is the centaur, the unicorn, becoming one with you again. So you reconnecting with your shadows and allowing them to come to the surface. That was hard to get that one out. But they are difficult energies. This eclipse tunnel is going to be full of all kinds of things. It's very strange. I thought when I was doing What the Dark, I was like, that'd be fun. Not quite. So, what's the journey? 2 cards, 5 of Pentacles, and then the Star, and then the Princess of Discs. So here we've got Mercury in Taurus, and I want to say that's a long way off because Mercury is at the moment in Gemini. So it's partly it's a sense of going backwards, reversing yourself round and facing the shadows, Nadur. But there's also something about the energy of constructing your way forwards and understanding that it's going back to that energy of the hermit and his worry beads. Oh, it is the card worry. The journey is stop with the worry. Every time you worry, you're manifesting, you're rubbing, you're creating the energy from your heart to bring you more of that worry. And then you've got 17, which is a cosmic healing. It's the Star card. It's very much Aquarian energy. But this is on a wonderful global healing level. But I want to say that even if I said to you there's a global healing coming, you're just going to be digging with your little worry beads again. But you have to change that pattern. You have to step away from that energy so that you can come towards the frequency of the Princess of Discs. And she's that new wonderful energy of plugging into the ground. She's Urash, the Sumerian goddess of agriculture. She has herself in balance. She has her yin and yang. Again, she's got these big horns. The last reading ended with that sense of divine feminine. And there's the Niflheimr, this frozen energy that you had before, is finally flowing. It's like all the world around you becomes as soft as polar bear fur. I'm not saying kill a polar bear. What I mean is there's something soft and pelty, something that feels wonderful and soothing and calming that's coming to you. So we just end with an Odin to see where that gets us. End with an Odin, end with an Odin. There's actually two. It has Isa, let go of the ice. You can't hang on to the old if you're going to be Bjarken, reborn. Okay? So, Spirit is opening a portal for you. The alchemy of the lake all around you is to let go and allow the shadows to rise up, because the shadows are when the roots of the Yggdrasil tree have gone deep into the darkness to pull up the nutrients to be reborn. Just hanging on to the trunk of the tree doesn't allow the energy, the true energy of sort of a heavenly realm, to blossom around you. It's coming, but you have to face your shadows. Okay, so that's duck number 2. Let's pop the cards back. Now we've got an aeroplane. I haven't heard an aeroplane for ages. Almost been feeling like I've been living in a different world. There's a lovely gentle breeze picking up now as well too. So, just slipping all the cards back in. Now there's a second plane. There'll be a third in a minute. Let's get all these Nostradamus ones in. You can focus on Neptune. I hope that bell came out on the microphone. That was fun too. So, did you pick duck number 3? What the duck 3? So, we're going to take 3 cards from the Odin deck, and they are to tell us what are you showing above the surface, what's alchemizing across the surface, and what's alchemizing below that's trying to get up and reach to the surface. So, what's above the surface? What are you revealing? What are you showing the world? A healing. Air. Air. You're showing a healing. What's the lake? What's the surface? What's rippling around you? Thor's hammer. Or Thor. Power. And what's underneath the surface? What's underneath the surface? What's underneath the surface? The union, bringing yourself with Gift back into alignment. But there's something about the hammer that's sitting really rock hard over the energy of the healing. You're attempting to heal, but the power of the surface, Spirit's opened energy. Spirit's turning everything upside down in the world as you're being seen. people see you at the moment as transforming before their eyes, and yet there's something about the power of the surface that's almost, it's like your river is solid metal at the moment. It's like it's a steel shutter, and underneath is the union, the full ending of the healing, but you haven't been able to access it yet. So we're using the Lost Tarot of Nostradamus to look at the energy around each card, the alchemy that's going on around the cards. So that's too many. I'm trying to get just 2 cards. So we've got 3 there. I've got 1 that's face up, which is the 10 of globes, which is the 10 of lead. Because globes in this deck represents the alchemy metal lead. So you've got the neophyte, which is 11, but it's the neophyte of moon. It's almost, I'm seeing there's very busy energy for you in Capricorn. Whether you have signs in Capricorn or whether you have a lot of planets in Capricorn, there's something very busy about House Capricorn for you. And inside the spheres, everything's been opened up, and there's a whole series of geometric shapes being formed, but it's like the inner emotions for you are incredibly heavy and complicated, and it's leaving you in a sense of I want to say just being sort of emotionally stuck. You are trying to heal with air, but you can see in the middle of this card, as it goes further and further in, it becomes more and more complicated, and then feeling, I want to say feeling sort of purified but not whole. It's like it's like an incorrect healing. You've got a third bird. You've got hugging and mugging and a third bird. And that third bird is kind of like a frequency of interference, something that's not really working. Hang on, I just have to wait a minute, because there's someone. So, you see, they were exactly the energy of the card. The 2 of the figures are holding hands as they walk by, and the third energy is in a form of stress. So, this is your biome, people. It's the third part. It's the idea that we have body, and we have our spirit, and then we have our biome. There is a mind, obviously, but the mind is the connection point between the physical and spiritual. This is something to do with the gut biome. That's really interesting. There's all the herbs hanging up. They didn't make any sense before. I'm so glad they walked by and provided with that energy, because she represented the woman was representing the biome, the gut, the energy, the third part that was being kept out of that unit as they walked by then. And that's why there's all these stars, because they were drawing me to the stars at the top of this card earlier, and that going inside the mechanics of each cell, each body, each part of you, and and there was I was trying to remember when it is. There's a point in in the astrology scene where Pluto and Mars sit. I think it's when the eclipse tunnel opens, and all of the planets are held in the arms of Mars and Pluto, and it must be the full moon. No, it must be the end of it, because it must be when the moon's around, so it must be the exit point. But there's something here about seeking a balance. They're drawing me to the Libra sign, and it's like the bottom's fallen out of your cosmic egg. The hat it's like your digestive system's literally falling from your body. It's giving you a sense of grief. And there's this is what this Thor's hammer is. It's like there's a weight that's hanging in there. So this has got something, we'll get there, but it's your body. You're doing all the right kind of spiritual practices, but you're not getting the results. You might be thinking you're eating all the right foods, but you're not getting the results. There's something about you not treating food as merely fuel, and not treating food as an integral gift to your biome. So what do you have? You have the Prince of Fire, Suns, Merc Copper. But it's really interesting that there's he is like your guts, from your gut downwards. It's just a column. It's fixed, it's not moving, it's not flowing. And you have the star, the healing, and here you have the coppery sun, and you have spirit leaping over a fence or a pole, flying in to bring around a kind of a healing. We'll be looking in a moment a little more into that healing, because somehow this union then is the union of your body with your biome somehow. It's not anything to do with spirit, it's your body and your biome. So your body and your biome. I feel like I need to ask, I've been saving these for the journey at the end, but I need some clarification on the Prince, which is, it's almost like this should be the king, but in this deck they all have different names, and there's something about this that's about a sense of naivety that needs healing. I'm not saying you're stupid, that's not the point. There's something missing in the equation. So can we have some clarifiers on the 14, or the Prince of Wands, and the Star? So the first card out is the Moon. So Pisces energy. Pisces has got Jupiter in it at the moment, and it's also got Neptune. But the Moon is usually at home in Cancer, but this is something to do with the need to expand an energy within you. That's the weirdest thing. It's not saying how so much. It's not like about grabbing vitamins. There's a divine energy in here, and there's a magic coming, and the magic is the scarab beetle at the bottom holding the sun. And we have the Knight of Discs, and the Knight of Discs is the King of Discs, and that's the king of all the kings in the in this. It becomes the alchemist, And this is what this is about, alchemizing something to do with your gut biome that needs to be brought up into union. But the sun that's being held down here is being resonated ever louder by the actual Knight of Discs. But there's something, I'm getting that reference to the bowing down of your barbarism compared to your, there's something to do with your relationship between yourself and meat. And I don't want to make a judgment on that. It's something you need to look at, whether it's just to begin with that you try and eat a little less, then that might be the way you do it. But it's putting down the weapons of war, the fight that you're having with yourself around what you place in your body that's not healing you, even though you on the outer surface look so healthy, it's not flowing inside. And then we have Venus in Cancer. Venus in Cancer is coming soon. This is, I'm being shown the energy of, I want to say this is healthy gut bacteria, biomes flowing, but it's also kind of giving me that sense of I'm getting that sense of I mean, look, the Gift card has got the cross on it. These are crossing. There's something about there's a mercurial energy about this, but what I'm really getting is the idea of the need for like, not like Yakult and Danone sort of products, I can't think what they're called, bifidus things, because they can't make it through the gut, they can't make it through the acid of the stomach. So the only thing that really gets through, the Yakult, the Lactobacillus casei shirota that the Japanese guy Dr. Shirota created, that can get through the stomach, but it's just one bacteria. That's not going to fix the energy that you have created that's making your stomach fall out. It's about sort of like kefir grains. Now, if you're a vegan and you don't want to do dairy, you can buy kefir grains and you can put them in water. Oh, actually, I'll have a sip of water. But in tests, kefir can get through the stomach and it can provide up to 250,000 different kind of bacteria. So somehow you've got to improve. Fermenting foods is another thing I'm getting. Using sourdough breads. You've got to increase the diversity of the food within you. Yes, you're eating healthy, but there's actually no nutrition. So there is that sense with a lot of the food that we get given is created on production lines, so there's no human touch in it. Whereas when we make food, like when I made the marmalade for my mother, you put the energy of intention and love into the food, and then that nourishes you. It doesn't just give you nutrients, it nourishes you. So you need to be looking at the food you eat and creating foods yourself. Don't, you know, it's even that sense of, it's no good just eating a piece of fruit. I'm not saying don't eat fruit, but the natural world did that. You need to create something with the food and the fruits where you alchemically, you alchemize it into something full of love, so that the energy of you creating something to nourish yourself with begins to function for you. So that's those, and then we need to move on to the 3 cards that come with gifts. So, or 2 really, and there we have 2. Right, so we have the 12, the Hanged Man. It's a kind of Ophiuchus snake, but look, the energy is, you're literally, it's almost like you're slithering along the floor. You're your your gut is broken, and that's what's beneath the surface that's trying to come up, is a transformation on that. It's a rigidness, it's eating the same foods, it's everything needs to change for you in terms of the diet. And then you have 10 of Mercury, which is the 10 of air. This is really important signature theme at the moment. Look, this guy's being pecked to hell by birds. Spirit is kind of grabbing at this person who's almost forking awful. He's almost forking one of the birds onto his thing. It's I don't like to tell people what you need to do. Everything's your own journey, but Spirit's saying think about eating less meat, less animals, because when you're eating animals, you're filling yourself with the frequency of death, and you're not. It's not the best thing. And the energy here is that the moon, when the moon hits Gemini. The moon hits Gemini at the end of the Janus Geminis, when it goes into the total solar eclipse. Maybe you just need to, throughout the Janus Geminis, just experiment for 2 weeks. Let the lunar eclipse happen and just try and spend your time in the tunnel eating differently, looking at food differently. Try and set yourself maybe a task of only eating what you can make. Don't eat a packet of biscuits. If you want to eat a biscuit, you've got to make the biscuit. So it's something about taking raw ingredients and loving and putting intention in. When I made the marmalade, when I was doing it to the part where you get the pectin to act, someone phoned me, and so I spoke to her and I was stirring it and talking to her, and it didn't set. So then I did it again, and I focused my intention on asking the pectin and the marmalade to set and to be the most delicious marmalade ever. Then it set. There's an alchemy to food. There's an alchemy to what you eat and how you create the food you eat. That's what you're being asked to do in this Janus Geminis. What the duck? So this is just a little 3-card journey through. Yeah, look, you've got to break into a new frequency. This is the 10 of air. It's almost like gut burn, gut ache, ulcers is the energy I'm getting. Everything's out of balance, but we've got the sun and the moon. We've got the journey through at the beginning, and it's a 2-week period. It runs from the 26th of May until the 10th of June. And then you're dealing with slicing through. There's like I'm getting ulcers. I'm not. But that's the energy I'm getting, a real discomfort in the belly and heartburn. I'm getting heartburn from this energy, and it's Mars in Scorpio. We had this card for the last reading. It's disappointment. No, we had worry before. This is emotional disappointments. It's like, I want to say, some of you are just shoveling food in your mouth. It's just fuel. You're not putting any intention behind anything you eat. You're just literally, I'll order a pizza and stuffing it in you. That's the frequency. You have to stop it. You have to stop doing it. And then the last card is Mercury in Sagittarius. It's going to... They're making me say that this frequency of what was your foods, all your dehydrated, I don't want preserved, it's pre-packed, it's that energy that you're eating healthy, but you might buy a salad from a shop and it's already made up. It's dead because someone made it 12, 15, 24 hours ago. You have to do everything. You have to put together the energy to communicate with your biome, and the only way to communicate with your biome is to put intention into the food so that the biome picks up the message of your food. So where does that lead you to? Where does that lead you to? where does that lead you to? Where do you get to when you sort your biome out? When you do a 2-week intention setting food gorgeousness? It will bring about a new strength. And it's a portal. It's the whole time tunnel will bring you into a new energy. And I want to say that, look, the vine, the biome is wrapping itself around you and it's healing you. It's doing this properly. Air, it's like you cut the bonds, what's binding air from doing her job properly with you. That's beautiful. So that is duck number 3. I'm just putting all the cards back in, and then we will move on to duck number 4. What's in store for duck number 4? Just need to put all of the cards back. I'm just enjoying listening to the birds all around. So, did you pick what the duck number 4? So we've got the Odin cards. I've got like a little stone tablet down here. I don't know where it came from. Well, it's not little, it's quite big. So we're looking for 3 cards, one for what's on show, one for what's the surface, and one for what's beneath the surface. What's alchemising around you? I'm just going to get a third because the first card that came out is the same first card, Raid, as the first journey, I think. Or it might have been the one when I started and then the children jumped down there and I had to stop. But anyway, we're getting a third. Ooh, nice. So, you see, now that I've moved that one, I'm not sure what the order of these are. What's on show? Niflheimr. A fog. What's on show? Nothing. It's almost like you're not putting out any energy. What's the energy of the surface of the lake that you're sitting on? It's Tyr. Tyr is the sky god, and Tyr is about sacrifice, and it's about feeling like Fenrir it's like the fog, it's like a sea mist. It's that's rising all around you. I've forgotten the word for a sea mist. It has a really lovely name. It might come back to me in a bit. And what's underneath the surface is inner health. This would have been a really interesting card to have come out as the final card in the last reading, which was all about your gut biome. So I just lifted myself up onto my feet just to change your position for a moment. So Niflheimr. I feel like this is going to be like number 2, where I'm going to throw a load of cards at this and not crack it for ages. So, what's not on show at all? What's this energy of Niflheimr? Right, so it's an energy of being stuck. You have the sun, but it's coming out with the 6 of moon, and that's silver. And I'm seeing above the lobster, I'm seeing a small pencil drawing of the sun, and it's kind of going. There's something where it keeps sliding back to the energy of a kind of a. There's a whole series of the phases of the moon, and at the base, it's like you're waiting for something to come in. You're waiting for spirit to just bring the sun out all around you. You're waiting for the wheel of fortune to move for you, but the wheel of fortune it's sort of waxed over. It's like the wheel of fortune can't move. It's in the fog. Again, you've got the sun, you've got the symbol of protection, and you've got plugging into the earth within the fog. It's like you've got spirit bound up in feathers. You've got 10 crows. It's like everything's begging to end, everything's begging to change, and yet somehow this tick-tock, tick. Each time you're making a spiritual step forwards, you seem to take a spiritual step backwards. Not sure that I really understand that, but it's got something to do with partnerships. It's like it's like you need another, but you can't have another until you've sorted you. But I don't feel I want to say there's also an energy of an overbearingness that's we've got this strange lobster, and the lobster's trying to create a fix on the sun and the moon. It's like I want to say that there's like a heat that comes inside you, and then the heat drops back down. The heat comes inside you, and it's got something to do with ego, but I don't understand that yet. So I'm going to take those two, and because there's something to do with the energy of a sacrifice needing to be taken. It's almost like there's something about the energy of you knowing what to do but not willing to do it, and yet that's also not the energy. This is really complicated. I mean, I would say that there's a sense of confusion, because at the moment I'm in that fog with you. I cannot see through, and then the lake itself, a sea fret is rising up all around you, and you can't see the light, but it's got something to do with your ego, and there's a level of embarrassment about something. It's not making sense, but we will keep going because that's what you have to do. I mean, considering that inner health, longevity, so, and I'm yawning as if to suggest a sense of sleepiness. So you've got Earth, 2 cards of Earth. You've got the 3 of Earth, which is the 3 of lead. And then you've got the Apprentice, which is like the Page of Earth, the Page of Pentacles. And here you have a sense of, it's this energy of feeling, I don't know how to describe it. They're showing me that 3 and 11 makes 14, which creates the idea of completing a court card, completing a suit. But there's something where these two energies won't come together. There's a naivety about the way in which you're going towards your spiritual journey. You're not willing to give up anything to achieve some kind of spiritual enlightenment. But that's still... so I'm hearing you have to open your eyes. You have to see the world around you. But it's still not helping. I'm going to put down 2 more, and then we're just going to have to go into the Thoth and try and unfold this. Because it's, to me, this is a fog. You're in a fog. It's putting me in a fog. I can't see my way through it. I'm feeling like I don't want to do it. So I sense that must be the energy that you have. There's a sort of, I want to say, a laziness. I don't want to accuse you of being lazy as such. Look, we've got Empress energy, Idun and Empress energy. Beneath the surface, that combination, that rich blue, that cobalt blue, lapis lazuli colour, there's a wealth of beauty and power and majesty hidden within those 2 cards. But what doesn't make sense is why you're fixed and confused and tired and can't be bothered. So let's just get another card to go with you done. Look, it's the Ace of Fire. It's a new inspiration. Look, it's making, if I put them the right way around, it's making 13. The energy of freedom is below. It's almost like I want to say you don't like the freedoms. Fenrir at the background is about Tyr agreed to put his hand in the mouth of Fenrir, and they said, we're just going to put these really thin strings around you. And yet they were magical bonds that tied the person. There's something about oh look, and that's what this is, tying. I feel like you can't let go properly of the need for others, like a fear of loneliness somehow, and you'd rather feel pain than to move into this blessed abundance that's beneath the surface. That's really odd. But anyway, let's go to the Thoth and just get a little bit more information on duck number 4. So Niflheimr, the realm of the fog, the frozen ice. Niflheimr. What, the 3 of Wands? With the 3 of Globe, the 3 of the lead. And this is the Sun in Aries. It's like you need to apply some passions to things. You've become so confused in, I want to say, in a dark Eve energy of manipulation. You're trying to manipulate others to get your own ends, when really you need to be manipulating yourself out of your own fog. Okay, you need to apply some passion to melt the fog. I haven't finished there yet. So What else would you like to say about the Niflheimr? Niflheimr. It's really weird. The wind's just shifting a card, and they're saying to me to turn that. Fool. That's what you are. You need a new beginning. It's foolish to build an ivory tower, not an ivory tower, but to build, it's like building a fortress. You have to walk away from all that you've built somehow. It's windowless. It has no light. The world that you've created for yourself is a fog because there's no illumination within it. It's a dark Eve energy. I don't know how else to explain that. I just need to make sure that these cards are in. I've got them all slightly muddled now. So that one belongs up there. And they're saying to me that's what they've done. They didn't mean to. They just knocked all the pieces over without realising. And they muddled everything in life. This is a heavy energy. Because this feels like you've really got to get yourself out of this dark Eve energy. So, what do we have for Tyr? Tyr. Oh, you see, look. That was a bit of a spillage. Oh my god, was it ever a spillage? Right, the surface, the fog, the weight, the need to sacrifice. This is like it's not real. That's the fog, because you can't even see the surface. These cards are saying the truth of the surface is absolutely beautiful. It has the Three of Pentacles. It's pure source love. 369 energy is all over the surface. It's already this frequency breaking through. It's pushing through. This Empress energy, this 3 with Idun, and this Ace of Copper, this Ace of Fire, this new passionate life is already bursting through the surface of the water. You've got with it the High Priestess. You've got the Empress and the High Priestess. The energy around you, this is, I want to say, because of this white camel, this is White Moon Lilith. And that's why I'm calling this particular card now White Moon Lilith. And it's trying to bring flow. It's the Six of Pentacles. And this is, all your planets are in alignment. The energy around you, Moon in Taurus, it's all incredible, powerful energy. Mars in Capricorn. Everything's flowing in a way to bring that energy up, out of that surface, alchemizing some kind of joy. But you've got to see through the veils that you've created as a fog by using manipulative energy. And it's your big cosmic universal lesson. It's the universe. It's card 21. This is you and the world working together. Everything's changing, and it's gospel. That's what they're saying to me. It's got the energies of Matthew, Mark, Luke and John around the edge, which is not the necessary for you to have the religious connotation, but they're just saying it's gospel. And then there's another card on the surface lifting up, Queen of Discs. You've got to move into the real world with clarity. You've got to see past the illusion. So what do we have? Idun, Empress, and the Ace of Wands, the Ace of Copper, the Ace of Suns. It's absolutely beautiful. It's clarity. It's clarity of everything. Clarity of thoughts, clarity of voice, clarity to move forwards. It's like the light comes in, the fire comes in, and then you get Princess of Wands. She is the mistress of manifestation. She takes all that old raw energy of manipulative power, because Dark Eve, remember, she didn't choose to be the manipulator. It was thrust upon her by the time period we lived in. And this is about Air Epoch coming after the energy of Earth Epoch. Earth Epoch is over for you. Flow with the new energy. go into that, and then you can manifest something new and something beautiful. It's really interesting that as that reading started, I just wanted to just turn down. I felt battered and closed off, and like I'd had enough. I was stuck in a stone tower with no windows, and then as it all unfolded, the energy just lifted. Where do we go? Look, Mushbel Hamir. That is the anecdote to that. These two cards create life. When fire meets ice, creation begins. You're heading there. It's all underneath the surface, but you've got to choose to step away from the dark Eve energy and move towards the white moon Lilith energy. And it wasn't even saying look at black moon Lilith. It was just saying accept the Empress, accept the High Priestess, accept those energies of the divine feminine, and stop manipulating people. And that's how you'll break through this cycle that you're in. So whoa, so anyway, that was your ducks. As soon as I get my new deck that's coming from America in the post, I will do the Ianus Geminis reading for the solar eclipse tunnels. There's lots and lots and lots of stuff going on in that. I've got lots of things planned. I've been looking into all the cosmic energies going on around it, and there's some really exciting stuff. I can't wait, but I don't want to do those readings until the magic new deck arrives. So anyway, have a beautiful day. Look, I've finally ended with the sun on me because you let your white moon Lilith in, duck number 4. So, what the duck? Until next time, wassail.